Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on Blindsight by Peter Watts. This is a highly acclaimed science fiction book, and unfortunately I am in the minority of people who did not enjoy this book. I ended up giving this a 2-star rating, which for me means I did not really like it, I didn't really have a good time with it, and I would not want to read it again. So before I get into what I liked and didn't like and all that, let me go ahead and tell you quickly what this book is about. Basically, we follow a crew of people going to Neptune to investigate some signals that are happening. Earlier on in the timeline of this story, tens of thousands of comets in a very coordinated way have burned up into the Earth's atmosphere, and it has basically looked like this is a first contact situation. And I think, that is where the problem started with me with this book. I thought that this was going to be much more focused on a first contact kind of story. I was thinking maybe something more along the lines of Arrival. And I say Arrival because some of the elements in this book definitely reminded me of the movie Arrival with Amy Adams. And unfortunately, I just did not enjoy it here. So I guess I'm going to just go into the negatives here to start off with, which is not what I normally do, but I feel like I just have so much more to say about what didn't work for me. And like I was saying, the biggest thing that started off is I thought it was going to be much more first contact in a different way than it was, because it is still very much a first contact story, but really it felt like it deals with game theory and like what does understanding of a conversation actually mean. So like basically what is intelligence? I almost felt like this was maybe something very similar to how intelligent are certain animals here on Earth. Like we can train certain animals to do things, or gorillas can learn how to sign, but like how intelligent are they actually? How much of it are they actually grasping? Are they just learning a pattern that if I do this, this happens, therefore when this happens, I do that? There's a whole big section about this book, a Chinese theory. I'm forgetting the name of it exactly, but unfortunately it just didn't work for me. It's not an aspect about science that I really care about, and I think that makes it hard to enjoy a book when so many of the aspects being explored are just not something that piques my interest. And when you're reading a science fiction novel, I feel like, especially one that is much more idea-driven than character-driven or plot-driven, it's these ideas and these concepts that you're supposed to really gravitate to and want to explore and learn more about. Unfortunately, this was just not one for me. And like I said, I'm definitely in the minority here. This book is praised everywhere. I felt so alone trying to look at reviews and other people's feelings about this book after I finished it, because I'm just not connecting with it whatsoever. I had major problems also with the crew that we have in this book. I didn't connect with any of them. Maybe part of it was in this world, there are vampires, which I know sounds absolutely crazy, and it feels like such a weird thing to be added into this book. But basically, like in the timeline of humanity, vampires are brought back and they're superhumans basically. That whole thing was super weird to me. I don't know if I understood fully what was trying to be explored there. And I think that maybe is actually what my biggest problem with this book is. On top of the not connecting with the ideas or caring about them, I'm not sure I got all of the ideas that were trying to be presented to me. And I mean, like I said, that's definitely a me thing. I am definitely in the minority here about not liking this book. So yeah, you have not connecting with the crew, the weird vampire thing, the interactions with the aliens themselves are done in such a weird way. There's this back and forth about, are they hostile? Are we teaching them to be hostile? Just all of these things that, funny enough, in Arrival, I found to be done much better and more enjoyable, but here just fell so flat for me. And as I sit here thinking about it, I really think that maybe I'm just missing something, because so many people talk so highly about this book that if you have a better idea of what I'm missing, plot-wise, character-wise, something, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to talk about this book, because even though it's not a book that I thoroughly enjoyed, it's definitely not something I'll ever want to probably reread or anything like that. It is a book that makes me think. And not necessarily just about the book itself, but just like what about it I didn't like, which is an interesting thing. And we're going a little bit off topic here about the book, but when I encounter a book like this where I'm so opposite of the majority opinion, it makes me question what I'm not getting and what other people are getting. So if you can help enlighten me, I would definitely appreciate it. I will say some of the things that I did like, I know how I said I didn't really connect with the scientific concepts here, and I didn't, but on a surface level, they're fine. And that's really the one positive I have to say here, because I really don't have a whole lot to say, unfortunately, is at a very surface, like how can we even understand another intelligent life out there? At a basic premise, it is fine. And I guess in some ways I liked it, even though I spent like 5 minutes talking how I didn't enjoy it and connect. I don't know, this is just one of those books where I'm so conflicted because I feel like I'm wrong. And I know reviews and your opinion are truly yours and your own, but I really do just feel like I'm missing something on this book, that so many people enjoyed it that I didn't, and I'm just wrong. And you know, that's fine. Like I said, let me know why I am in the comments. Please, I would love to understand this maybe a little bit better, but unfortunately, this was not for me. And so to try and end this off with a positive, I think a lot of people should probably read this book because I am in such a minority of not liking it that the odds that you are going to enjoy it are probably a lot higher than me, which is a good thing. I always go into a book wanting to enjoy it. I am not out here searching for things that I'm not going to enjoy. I normally enjoy science fiction, and I have just been on a really cold streak here recently. And actually, it's not just with science fiction. I have on a real cold streak with all of my reading recently, unfortunately. So hopefully I can turn that around soon. But that is enough of me rambling on about this book. Once again, let's talk down in the comments. I would really enjoy it. And as always, have a good one.